The stars stretched endlessly across the sky as the small human expedition approached the uncharted planet. Captain Elena Harper, a skilled engineer with sharp eyes and steady hands, watched the world grow larger on the ship's viewing screen. Beside her, her husband's nephew Liam, a young cadet with boundless curiosity, fidgeted with the navigation controls. "This is it," Elena said, her voice steady but filled with anticipation. "We don't know what's down there, but humans always find a way." Liam nodded, though the excitement in his green eyes betrayed a hint of nervousness. "Do you think the reports are true? That the planet moves?" Elena raised an eyebrow. "Planets don't move on their own, but this one has unusual gravitational readings. That's why we're here, to study it." The ship shook slightly as it entered the planet's atmosphere. Lights flickered in the control panel, warning signs flashing red. Elena's hands moved quickly across the console, steadying the ship as Liam monitored external sensors. A sudden jolt threw them both forward. "Brace!" Elena shouted. The ship lurched violently, skidding across the clouds like a stone skipping on water. Then, with a final jolt, it crashed through a dense layer of fog and settled roughly onto the surface. Smoke and dust filled the cabin, and alarms blared relentlessly. Elena and Liam scrambled to unbuckle their harnesses. "Is everyone okay?" Elena asked, her voice calm but tense. "Mostly," Liam said, coughing from the smoke. "But the communications are down." "We can't reach the rest of the team," Elena groaned. "Figures. The landing wasn't clean and this planet seems temperamental." She took a deep breath and pushed open the ship's hatch. A wave of humid air hit them immediately, carrying the scent of strange plants and minerals. The ground beneath their feet was soft and slightly glowing in shades of green and blue. Liam stared around, eyes wide. "It's beautiful. Beautiful and dangerous," Elena muttered, scanning the forest that stretched endlessly before them. The trees were tall, with luminous leaves that pulsed faintly, almost like breathing. Strange vines twisted around their trunks, and in the distance, she could see shadows that moved just beyond the edge of her vision. "Do you think there's life here?" Liam asked, his voice a mix of fear and excitement. Elena shrugged. "Probably. But life doesn't have to be friendly." She motioned to the supplies they had salvaged from the crash. "First, we need shelter. Night is coming, and this planet's nights are unpredictable." The two of them set off cautiously. Elena's experience made her notice every detail. The way certain plants reacted to their steps, the soft crunch of glowing moss, the occasional ripple in the air that hinted at movement nearby. Liam, younger and faster, darted ahead to inspect interesting formations but quickly returned when Elena raised her hand. "Stick close," she said. "We can't afford to get separated here." Hours passed as they navigated the strange forest. They discovered a small clearing surrounded by thick vines and towering trees. Elena knelt, examining the soil. It was unusually soft, almost sponge-like, but surprisingly stable. With a few quick adjustments, she used parts from the ship's wreckage to create a temporary shelter. It wasn't much, just a frame of metal panels and debris, but it would shield them from whatever dangers the night might bring. As they worked, Liam asked, "Do you think we'll find animals here? Hurt monsters?" Elena smiled faintly. "Probably both, but humans have survived worse. We just have to think, plan, and stay alert." Night fell quickly. The glowing plants made the forest look like a dream, but the beauty didn't hide the unease. Strange sounds echoed around them, a rustle in the trees, a faint clicking somewhere in the distance, and occasional low hums that seemed to come from the ground itself. Liam shivered. Elena noticed but didn't comment. Instead, she handed him a small light device. "Stay close and keep your eyes open. This planet will test us." They settled into the temporary shelter, eating rations salvaged from the ship. As they ate, they shared stories to keep their minds off the fear. Liam told tales of his training, his misadventures on the simulation ships, and even a joke or two. Elena laughed softly, grateful for the distraction, but she kept scanning the perimeter. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath them. Small stones jumped as if alive, and the glowing moss flickered in response. Liam froze. What was that? Elena's heart pounded. She grabbed a small scanner and pointed it at the trees. Something large, moving fast. Could be an animal, could be something else. For hours they waited, listening to the alien forest. The tremor subsided, replaced by an eerie silence. Stars peeked through the treetops, and Elena allowed herself a brief moment of calm. Humans had faced danger before, On Earth, in space, even in simulations far more deadly than this planet. And here, she thought, was another chance to prove what humans could do. Liam leaned against a panel, still holding the light device. "I'm glad I'm here with you," he said quietly. "I've learned more from you in a day than I ever did at the academy." Elena gave him a small smile. "And I'm glad you're here. Teamwork is what will keep us alive. Humans survive because we think, we adapt, and we work together. Never forget that." The first night passed slowly. Every sound seemed amplified in the glowing forest, every shadow a potential threat. But the humans endured, huddled together in their makeshift shelter, their minds alert and bodies ready. By the time dawn approached, the alien world seemed slightly less hostile, though the planet was far from forgiving. When the first rays of light pierced the forest canopy, illuminating the soft luminescent plants, Elena and Liam stepped outside. The forest was breathtaking. Strange birds with translucent wings glided silently between the trees, and plants shifted gently as if breathing. But beauty did not erase danger. Elena scanned the horizon. There were areas where the ground seemed unstable, fissures in the soil that could swallow a human whole. Liam knelt, examining a small, glowing vine. "It's alive," he whispered. "I think it reacts to our touch." Elena nodded. "Everything here is alive in some way. We'll need to study carefully. One wrong step could be fatal." Together they set off into the alien forest once more, determined to map the area, find resources, and survive. The bond between them strengthened, not as teacher and student or aunt and nephew, but as two humans relying entirely on each other. They were small, fragile even, against the vast unknown, but they were clever, courageous, and above all human. And humans, as always, found a way. The first rays of dawn painted the alien forest in soft shades of green and gold. Elena and Liam stepped carefully over the glowing moss, scanning the terrain for anything useful. The night had been long and tense, but it had taught them an important lesson. They needed to move cautiously, observe everything, and always plan ahead. "This forest is alive," Liam said quietly, kneeling to examine a strange, luminous plant. "Look at this, it reacts when I touch it." Elena crouched beside him, studying the plant. "Yes, everything here seems to sense us. That's a sign of intelligence, at least in some form. We need to respect it, or it could turn against us." Liam nodded, his curiosity barely contained. "Do you think there are animals too? Or predators?" "There are always predators," Elena replied, adjusting her pack. "But humans survive because we think. Observation, strategy, and teamwork. Our brains are our best weapons." They moved slowly through the forest, collecting samples of plants, soil, and small stones. Elena documented each one in her portable scanner, noting which might be useful for food, water filtration, or shelter. Liam kept watch, his sharp eyes catching movements in the trees and the underbrush. By midday, they came to a clearing with a small stream flowing through it. The water shimmered faintly, reflecting the glowing forest around it. Liam knelt and dipped a hand in the water. "It's cold but clean." Elena tested it with her scanner. "Safe to drink, at least for now. We'll need more tests later, but it should keep us hydrated." She filled their containers while Liam examined nearby vines. "Some of these look edible," he said, plucking a leaf. "Maybe we can test them for nutrients." "Careful," Elena warned. "One wrong choice could make us very sick." "But yes, humans adapt. We experiment carefully and learn fast. That's why we survive in places like this." As they worked, the forest around them seemed to shift. Trees swayed without wind. Shadows moved across the ground and strange clicking sounds echoed softly. Liam froze. "Did you hear that?" Elena listened. "Yes, we're not alone. Stay alert." From the undergrowth, a small creature darted into view. It was about the size of a rabbit, with shimmering scales and multiple eyes that reflected the sunlight. It watched them curiously before disappearing as quickly as it appeared. "Looks like the wildlife is curious too," Liam whispered. Elena nodded. "Curiosity can be dangerous, but it's also a sign. This planet is not just alive, it's observant. We need to respect that." The day passed with small discoveries. They found fruits that glowed softly, vines that could be used as ropes, and soil rich with minerals. Each discovery strengthened their confidence. Humans had landed on an alien world, and they were beginning to understand it. Not through brute force, but through observation and clever thinking. By evening, clouds gathered, casting the forest in deep shadows. The temperature dropped quickly. Elena checked her scanner. Storm incoming fast, we need shelter now. They hurried back to the makeshift camp they had built the previous night, but when they arrived, they found it partially destroyed. A branch had fallen during the night, crushing part of their metal frame. Liam frowned. We can't stay here. Not with the storm coming. Elena examined the damage. We'll repair it, but we'll need to reinforce it. Take the panels we salvaged and help me fasten them. This planet doesn't forgive mistakes. The storm hit violently. Rain fell in sheets, hissing when it struck the glowing moss, and wind howled through the trees. Small tremors shook the ground. Elena and Liam worked quickly, hammering metal panels together and securing vines as additional support. The shelter held, but barely. Hours passed in tense silence, broken only by the sounds of the storm. Liam shivered. I've never been somewhere like this, he admitted. It's alive, almost like it knows we're here. Elena glanced at him, noticing both fear and determination in his face. You're right, it does. But that's why humans survive. We think, we adapt, we use our brains to turn danger into opportunity. We can survive here because we're clever, because we plan, and because we don't panic. The storm finally subsided just before dawn. The forest was transformed. Branches lay broken. The ground was muddy, and the glowing plants flickered weakly from the damage. Elena and Liam stepped outside to assess the aftermath. Look at that, Liam said, pointing to a cluster of glowing mushrooms near the stream. They survived. And they're even bigger than yesterday. Elena smiled faintly. Resilience. That's what survival is about. Whether it's mushrooms, animals, or humans. We adapt, we endure. That's why humans are special. They spent the next day repairing tools, collecting food, and exploring cautiously. Liam discovered a vine that could be braided into strong cordage. Elena fashioned it into a harness for carrying heavy objects. Together, they built small traps for catching small creatures for food, and found ways to purify water using heated rocks and filtered moss. During a brief rest, Liam asked, Do you think we'll find other humans? Elena considered. Maybe. But even if we don't, humans survive because we rely on each other and our minds. That's enough to make us capable of anything. Their teamwork deepened. The young cadet's energy and curiosity complemented Elena's technical knowledge. They learned to read the forest together, recognizing signs of dangerous creatures, tracking flowing water, and identifying plants that could heal minor injuries. Every success, no matter how small, strengthened their confidence. On the third night, they noticed strange lights in the distance. They moved carefully toward them, keeping low. As they approached, they saw a small alien creature observing them. Its body was translucent, glowing softly, and it had multiple limbs that seemed to move independently. It made soft clicking sounds. Liam froze. It's intelligent, I think, Elena nodded. Maybe, but it's cautious. That's good. Curiosity without aggression is a good sign. Let's keep our distance and observe. The creature studied them for a few moments, then retreated into the forest. Elena and Liam exchanged glances. This planet isn't just alive, Elena said softly. It's aware. We need to be careful, but that also means we can learn from it. They returned to their shelter and prepared for another night. The forest seemed less threatening now, not because it was safer, but because they understood it better. Humans were observers, planners, and innovators. That knowledge was their greatest advantage. Before sleep, Liam whispered, I think we can survive this. Together, Elena smiled, ruffling his hair. Humans always survive, especially when we work as a team. And with that, they closed their eyes, ready for whatever the alien world might throw at them next. For in this strange, glowing forest, two humans had already proven one truth. Cleverness, courage, and teamwork were more powerful than any threat the universe could create. The day began with soft light filtering through the alien forest. Elena and Liam emerged from their repaired shelter, scanning the glowing trees and strange plants. The forest seemed calmer today, though every shadow hinted at movement and every whisper of the wind carried unknown possibilities. We need to explore farther, Elena said, adjusting her pack. We can't stay in one place forever. We need to understand this planet if we want to survive. Liam nodded, a mixture of excitement and caution in his eyes. Do you think the creature we saw last night will come back? Elena glanced around. Possibly. Intelligent creatures are curious. We'll need to observe carefully. Humans survive because we learn quickly and adapt. They walk slowly, noting signs of movement, broken branches, unusual markings on the glowing moss, and small tracks that hinted at creatures both small and large. Elena scanned the environment with her portable device, analyzing the soil, air, and nearby plants. Liam kept his senses alert, his eyes following every rustle and flicker of light. After a few hours, they entered a wider clearing. Strange tall plants formed a natural circle around a small pool of shimmering water. It looked almost like a mirror, reflecting the glowing leaves above. Liam knelt to examine the pool. "This water is different," he said. "It's glowing a little." Elena scanned it. "It contains unique minerals. Safe to touch, but we should avoid drinking directly for now. This planet has surprises everywhere." Suddenly, the glowing water rippled as if something large had moved beneath the surface. Both froze. A tall, slender creature emerged slowly, stepping onto the edge of the pool. Its skin glimmered like liquid glass, and multiple limbs moved with precise, coordinated motion. Two large eyes regarded them, intelligent and curious, reflecting the soft glow of the forest. Liam whispered, "It's watching us." Elena nodded slowly. "Yes, but it's cautious." "That's a good sign. We'll stay calm and observe." The alien didn't attack. Instead, it raised one limb, making a soft clicking sound. Elena realized it might be trying to communicate. She held up her scanner and spoke in a calm, even voice. "We are humans. We mean no harm." The alien paused, studying them. Then it repeated the clicking sound slightly faster this time. Liam's eyes lit up. "It's trying to respond. Maybe it's a language." Elena nodded. "Possibly. Humans survive because we think creatively. Let's try mimicking its pattern." They spent hours experimenting. Elena copied some of the clicking sequences with a small sound device while Liam made visual signals using reflective panels. The alien watched, then responded, repeating certain patterns. Slowly, a form of communication began to emerge. Simple at first, but clear enough to convey intention. The creature led them deeper into the forest, pausing at intersections and waiting for them to follow. Liam whispered, "It's guiding us." Elena's mind raced. Humans survive because we observe, adapt, and take calculated risks. Following this creature could teach us much about the planet, and maybe help us survive. The path led to a hidden valley filled with more of the glowing creatures. Some were small, like the one they had seen first, while others were taller, moving gracefully on multiple limbs. The valley was alive with soft light pulsating and shimmering. It felt like a sanctuary. And yet Elena knew they were still in a dangerous world. One of the larger aliens approached them cautiously. Liam held out a hand and Elena whispered, "Slowly. Don't scare it." The alien paused, then touched his hand with one of its limbs. It felt warm and soft, surprisingly gentle. Liam grinned. "It's friendly. I think it trusts us." Elena smiled faintly. "Trust is earned. Humans survive because we respect other life forms and learn from them." Over the next few days, Elena and Liam worked to understand the alien species. They learned that the creatures communicated through clicks, light patterns, and subtle movements. Liam excelled at reading these signals while Elena built devices to replicate them. They discovered that the aliens were intelligent, cautious, and capable of problem solving. One evening, Liam asked, "Why do you think they're letting us learn? They could ignore or attack us." Elena looked thoughtful. "Because humans survive by showing understanding. We observe, we adapt, we cooperate. The aliens can sense our intelligence and intention. That's why they're willing to teach slowly, carefully. Because they see that we can learn." The aliens began to show them useful things, which plants could purify water, how to track smaller creatures, and how to find stable shelter. Elena and Liam absorbed everything. Every lesson increased their chance of survival. One afternoon, a tremor shook the valley. The glowing plants flickered violently. A loud rumble echoed from the cliffs above. Elena grabbed Liam's arm. "Stay close. Something is coming." From the rocks above, a massive creature appeared. It was much larger than the others. Its eyes glowed with intelligence, but its movements were aggressive. The smaller aliens scattered, clicking warnings. Elena acted quickly. Humans survive because we plan and act. We can't fight it head-on, but we can outthink it. She grabbed a reflective panel and angled it toward the sun, flashing bright beams at the creature. Liam helped, using another panel to create moving patterns of light. The massive creature hesitated, confused by the unusual signals. The smaller aliens joined, using light and movement to guide the larger creature away from them. It roared but eventually retreated into the forest, leaving the valley safe once more. Liam panted. That was incredible. We actually scared it off. Elena nodded. Humans survive because we think creatively. Strength alone isn't enough. Intelligence, teamwork, and observation, that's what makes us special. That night, the aliens circled around them, their glowing forms illuminating the valley. Liam whispered, "Do you think they—" "Like us," Elena smiled softly. "I think they respect us. And respect is powerful. Humans survive by earning it, through courage, thought, and understanding. We're not the strongest creatures here, but we're the smartest." As they rested, Elena and Liam reflected on how far they had come. They were still far from rescue, still deep in an alien world full of unknown dangers. Yet they had learned that survival was not just about enduring. It was about understanding, adapting, and using the mind to navigate threats. By the next morning, they were ready to explore further, armed with knowledge, courage, and the trust of the alien species. Humans could survive anywhere, not because they were the strongest, but because they could think, learn, and work together. And on this strange, glowing planet, Elena and Liam had proven it. The valley glowed softly under the pale light of the alien sun. Elena and Liam woke early, feeling both anticipation and caution. The aliens had guided them to a new part of the forest, where the trees were taller, the ground more uneven, and the air thick with strange scents. "We need to map this area," Elena said, adjusting her pack. "Humans survive by knowing their surroundings. Knowledge is power." Liam nodded, already scanning the forest for landmarks. "I can mark the paths we take so we don't get lost." They moved carefully, using the skills they had learned over the past days. Liam observed subtle movements in the forest, predicting the behavior of smaller creatures, while Elena analyzed the plants and soil to identify hazards and resources. Together, they made a strong team, each complementing the other's strengths. By midday, dark clouds began gathering overhead. The wind shifted, carrying a strange electric smell. Elena stopped, scanning the sky. "Storm coming, fast, stronger than before." Liam's eyes widened. "We need to find shelter quickly." The aliens had shown them natural formations that could serve as protection, large rock overhangs and dense groves. Elena led the way, her mind racing. "Humans survive because we plan for the worst," she reminded herself. Every step mattered. They reached a large cave entrance just as the first drops of rain fell. Inside, the air was cool and damp. The walls shimmered faintly with mineral deposits, reflecting the faint glow of bioluminescent moss outside. Liam looked around in awe. This is amazing." Elena set up a temporary camp using salvaged metal panels and rope-like vines to reinforce the cave entrance. The storm outside intensified, rain pounding the ground and wind whipping through the forest. Small tremors shook the cave, sending loose stones tumbling. "Stay close," Elena instructed. "Humans survive because we stay alert and act calmly. Panic is the enemy." Hours passed as the storm raged. They ate rations and shared stories to keep their spirits up. Liam's energy and optimism helped Elena remain calm, and she, in turn, guided him with her experience. Suddenly, the ground trembled violently. Dust and small stones fell from the cave ceiling. Liam grabbed Elena's arm. "What is it?" Elena's scanner beeped rapidly. "Seismic activity. A landslide nearby. We need to reinforce the cave walls and move any loose debris. Humans survive because we use brains, not just strength." Working together, they stabilized the cave. Elena fastened metal supports against weak sections, while Liam tied vines to create tension braces. They moved quickly but carefully, knowing that one mistake could be catastrophic. After hours of effort, the cave was secure. They sat back exhausted but relieved. "Humans survive because we don't give up," Elena said, wiping sweat from her brow. "Even in the worst conditions, we find solutions." The storm subsided by evening, leaving a transformed landscape outside. Trees had fallen, moss was torn from the ground, and streams had swollen. But the aliens were already emerging from the shadows, curious and cautious. One approached Elena and Liam, clicking softly. Liam held out a hand. "We're safe," he said gently. The alien studied them, then moved toward a collapsed grove. It clicked rapidly, motioning for Elena and Liam to follow. Hesitant but curious, they did. The grove had been damaged by the storm. A small group of alien creatures was trapped under fallen branches and rocks. The humans observed carefully. "We can help," Elena said. "Humans survive by solving problems." Using a combination of strength and clever tools, they began lifting debris. Liam worked quickly, using vines and pulleys to move heavy branches, while Elena directed the effort, analyzing the safest way to remove rocks without causing further harm. The aliens watched, clicking and flashing light signals. Slowly, the trapped creatures were freed. They circled the humans almost in a gesture of thanks. Liam grinned. "We actually helped them." Elena nodded. "Humans survive not just by protecting ourselves, but by cooperating with others. That's what makes us special." As night approached, they returned to their reinforced cave. The aliens lingered nearby, their glowing forms illuminating the clearing. It was a silent acknowledgement of trust and respect. Elena realized that survival was no longer just about them. It was about protecting others too. Humans had always excelled when they worked as a team, and now that principle extended to a completely new species. The next day, they explored further. The aliens led them to a series of natural tunnels that ran beneath the forest floor. The tunnels were narrow but stable, and the walls were lined with glowing crystals that provided light. Liam marveled at the beauty, but Elena remained focused. "We need to map this network. Humans survive because we understand our environment." They discovered water pools, edible plants, and safe resting areas. The aliens showed them how to recognize unstable sections, avoid hazards, and even signal for help if needed. Liam picked up quickly, understanding the patterns and predicting potential dangers. Elena couldn't help but feel pride in his quick thinking. Humans survived not just because of experience, but because we could learn fast. One afternoon, they reached a large cavern. At its center was a pool of clear water, reflecting the glowing crystals above. Liam knelt, touching the surface. "This could be a source of fresh water," he said. Elena scanned it with her device. "Safe. Humans survive because we use knowledge to make decisions. This will keep us hydrated and healthy." As they rested, the cavern trembled slightly. Small rocks fell from above. Elena stood quickly, examining the ceiling. Seismic activity again. "But the structure is strong. Humans survive because we anticipate risks and prepare." They reinforced weak areas with vines and panels from the ship, creating a stable and safe base within the cavern. That night, the aliens gathered near the entrance. One approached Liam, clicking softly and flashing a pattern of light. Liam responded with a sequence he had learned. The alien paused, then seemed to nod. Elena smiled. "They understand us. Humans survive because we can communicate, learn, and cooperate, even with beings entirely different from ourselves." Over the next days, the humans and aliens worked together. Elena taught Liam how to make simple tools from the crystals and vines. Liam experimented with small traps and ways to collect water more efficiently. The aliens observed, sometimes mimicking their actions, sometimes guiding them toward better solutions. The humans realized that this cooperation was more than survival. It was a partnership. Humans thrived because they could adapt, learn, and innovate. On this alien planet far from Earth, these qualities had become their greatest strength. One evening, as they rested by the crystal-lit pool, Liam asked softly, "Do you think we'll ever leave this planet?" Elena looked out at the glowing forest. "Maybe. But while we're here, humans survive because we work together, think creatively, and respect life. That's all that matters for now." They sat in silence, watching the soft pulses of light from the aliens. They had faced storms, dangerous terrain, and uncertainty. They had worked with an entirely new species. And through it all, humans had proven once again why they survived where others might fail. Elena reflected on the journey so far. The planet was dangerous, unpredictable, and full of surprises. But humans had adapted, humans had learned, and humans had earned respect in a world that was not their own. Tomorrow they would explore further, uncover more secrets, and face new challenges. But tonight they rested, safe, prepared, and stronger than before. Humans survived, not because of strength alone, but because of intelligence, courage, and the willingness to work together. And on this alien planet, Elena and Liam had shown exactly why. The alien valley was calm in the early light, but Elena knew that peace was fragile. The storms had tested them, and the seismic tremors reminded her that the planet was unpredictable. Today, they would explore farther than ever before, pushing the limits of human ingenuity and courage. "Ready?" she asked, adjusting her pack. Liam grinned. "Always. Let's see what this planet has in store for us today." The aliens had guided them to a part of the forest they hadn't seen before. Trees were taller, glowing brighter, and the terrain was rougher. Small streams crisscrossed the paths, and glowing vines hung from branches like natural lanterns. Elena scanned the area with her device, noting mineral concentrations and potential hazards. "This place is rich with resources," she said. "Humans survive because we observe carefully and plan ahead. We can use what we find wisely." As they moved deeper, the ground trembled slightly. Elena froze. "Seismic activity. Stay alert." Liam looked around, tense but calm. "Do you think it's worse than before?" Elena shook her head. "We can handle it. Humans survive because we think, adapt, and act." Suddenly, a massive fissure opened in the ground ahead, cutting across the path. The alien guides hesitated, clicking anxiously. A river of molten-like energy flowed beneath, glowing and dangerous. The humans realized that crossing it would be a challenge. Elena examined the fissure carefully. "We can build a bridge. Use the vines and metal panels. If we work together, we can cross safely." Liam nodded. "I'll anchor the vines to the trees. You handle the panels?" Together they worked quickly and efficiently. Liam tied thick vines to sturdy trunks while Elena positioned the metal panels to create a stable walkway. The aliens watched curiously, their light patterns flickering with interest. Slowly but surely, they created a safe passage across the fissure. Once across, they continued into the deeper forest. Soon they reached a large clearing where several alien nests were clustered. But the atmosphere was tense. The glowing plants flickered violently and small tremors shook the ground. Liam whispered, "Something's wrong." Before Elena could respond, a massive shadow moved above them. A huge creature, larger than any they had seen, descended from the cliffs. Its eyes glowed with intelligence, but its movements were aggressive. The smaller aliens scattered in panic. Elena took a deep breath. "Humans survive because we think. Strength alone won't help us. We need strategy." She signaled Liam, "Use the light panels. Flash patterns at it. Distract it, confuse it, make it hesitate." Liam acted quickly, moving the panels and flashing bright sequences across the clearing. The massive creature paused, unsure. The smaller aliens joined, using light and motion to guide it away from the nests. Elena observed carefully, analyzing its behavior. "It's intelligent. We can't fight it directly, but we can outsmart it." Using a combination of reflective panels and signals mimicking the alien clicks, they led the massive creature toward a narrow canyon. The terrain slowed it down, and the combined effort of humans and aliens forced it to retreat back into the forest. Liam panted. "We did it. We actually drove it away." Elena nodded, smiling faintly. "Humans survive because we solve problems even against stronger opponents. Observation, creativity, and teamwork win where brute force fails." The smaller aliens returned to the clearing, circling Elena and Liam as if in gratitude. Their light patterns flickered in rhythm, almost like applause. Liam laughed softly. "I think they're happy with us." Elena smiled. "They respect us. Humans survive because we earn respect, not fear." Over the next days, they explored further, mapping resources, finding safe water, and observing the behaviors of the planet's creatures. They learned the patterns of seismic activity, which allowed them to predict minor tremors and avoid danger. The humans' ability to learn quickly and adapt impressed the aliens, who continued to guide them with cautious trust. One afternoon, while resting by a glowing stream, Liam asked, "Do you think humans will always be able to survive anywhere?" Elena considered, "We survive because we observe, learn, and cooperate. That doesn't mean it's easy, but it means we can face almost any challenge. We use our brains, our hearts, and our teamwork to thrive." That evening, the aliens led them to a natural amphitheater of glowing stones. It was a serene place, filled with soft light and gentle hums from the surrounding plants. Elena realized that the aliens were showing them a final lesson, a demonstration of harmony between life, environment, and intelligence. Liam knelt near the edge, touching the glowing stones. "It's beautiful. It feels peaceful," Elena nodded. "Humans survive not just by fighting danger, but by understanding life and finding balance with it. That's what we've learned here." The aliens gathered around them, their lights pulsating in patterns that conveyed trust and gratitude. Elena and Liam reciprocated, using their devices to mimic the signals they had learned. For the first time, the humans felt completely integrated into this alien world, not as intruders but as partners. As night fell, they prepared their temporary shelter. The stars above were unfamiliar, bright, and countless. Liam looked up. "Do you think anyone back home knows we're alive?" Elena smiled faintly. "They'll find out eventually. But for now, humans survive because we rely on ourselves, on each other, and on our intelligence. That's enough for today." They settled in, watching the soft glow of the alien valley. The challenges had been immense: storms, seismic activity, dangerous creatures, but they had endured. They had learned to communicate with a new species, use their environment to their advantage, and overcome obstacles that would have defeated less capable beings. Liam whispered, "I never thought I'd survive here, let alone help the aliens." Elena placed a hand on his shoulder. "Humans survive because we believe in our abilities. Courage, intelligence, and teamwork. Those are the traits that make us special." "You've proven that." "We both have." The alien lights flickered in the night, almost like a gentle applause. Elena realized that humans had not only survived, they had earned respect, learned new skills, and left a mark on a world that was completely alien to them. By dawn, they were ready to continue exploring, but now with confidence. They had faced the unknown and prevailed. Humans could survive anywhere because they were clever, courageous, and capable of adapting. That knowledge and the bond between them and the aliens would carry them through every challenge the planet could throw at them. As they packed their gear and prepared to move forward, Elena glanced at Liam. "No matter what comes next, remember this: humans survive because we think, we learn, and we work together. That's what makes us stronger than anything we might face." Liam nodded, determination shining in his eyes. "I'll remember. And I'll keep learning. Humans can do anything if we try." Elena smiled, feeling a deep sense of pride. Together they had faced storms, massive creatures, and an alien world full of mysteries. They had adapted, survived, and thrived. They had proven the ultimate truth: humans are remarkable, not because of strength alone, but because of intelligence, courage, and cooperation. And on this glowing, unpredictable planet, Elena and Liam had left a lasting mark, not just as survivors, but as humans who had earned respect, mastered challenges, and shown the galaxy why humanity could thrive anywhere. The alien valley pulsed gently in the night, the stars shining above, and for the first time, the humans felt not only alive but truly at home in the vast universe.